Another 40 days with the Savior. Today I want to talk about a 2-minute elevator ride and serving. And I was talking with a friend of mine who's back east. She's in Wisconsin and she's single. She travels a lot. She manages elderly care facilities. And we were chatting, and literally she was going through the airport and I was going right with her. And I could hear her just changing the names, but I could hear her say, "Hi Bob, how you doing? Oh, hey Karen, how are you?" And doing her ticket check-in and all these different things. And it was cracking me up. She put my cell phone through the conveyor belt. I didn't even hang up. I mean, that's like we were walking together through this experience. And after she kind of got to a resting place, I started laughing. I said, "This was so great that we could spend the time the way that we're doing it so we can catch up." She goes, "Well, I actually usually am looking for a couple of people to help before I get on the plane." And I said, "Well, tell me about that." And she purchased a thing to the lounge and she can bring up to 2 people. And she said, "I usually look for people that are distressed, like those that are sleeping in the chair or have young kids or they look hungry or whatever." And then she invites them up to this lounge where there's snacks, there's a place to rest. And she said, "It's wonderful. I take a 2-minute elevator ride and we connect and I find out a little bit about them." And she said, "I've met the most amazing people who have just lost their mother or they're just got married or a variety of things. And they don't hang out a lot. She doesn't put that pressure on them. She just shows them where the food is and where they can rest and they can just have some quiet time." And I just thought, wow, she put that right into her daily schedule, her weekly schedule. She travels every week. She could have just used that golden time to just relax, but she just added in that one simple thing. It was so powerful to me. And then I thought of that talk by Dieter F. Uchtdorf, where it's lift where you stand, and how they were trying to move a piano and they tried all these different ways. And finally, all these men stood around this piano and someone said, "Lift where you stand, just 2 inches." They lifted it up and they could move it. And I thought about that, lift where you stand. I thought, serve where you see. Wherever you see it, just serve. And it doesn't have to be a lifelong thing or this big deal, just a little bit. And so I know you're doing that already. I just wanted to encourage you to be just a little bit more intentional of just seeing that need as we're going around with our list and bustle, and I got to get this done like I've been today and got to get down the list because I've had sick kids and trying to see where I can serve. Yesterday, I just ran out real quick and I was at the post office and the sweet lady was going in. She had 3 big boxes on top of a stroller with a little child inside and she was trying to move it into the post office. And it was marvelous because I could just go over and said, "Hey, let me help you with that." So I pushed the stroller and she was able to carry the boxes and I opened the door. It was like 3 seconds. It was no big deal, but it was this joyful feeling and it was a help for her and it was a joy for me and it just made all the difference. And that's what I mean. And it makes me think of the Savior. That's what he did all the time. He served where he saw. He lifted where he stood. It was constant, and he served in different ways. He served with his hands, or he laying on of hands, or even just creating clay. Do you remember for the blind where he did spittle and a little bit of dirt and laid his hands on his eyes? And he served with his words. The centurion where he just used a word, or Lazarus where he said, "Lazarus, come forth." I think that's what it was. And he was resurrected, and he did it even without words. Think about the wine at Cana, or different times where he didn't even use a word, like the stater, finding the gold stater, the coin in the fish's mouth for Peter, where he didn't even say something. He just said, "You're going to do this, you're going to find this," and didn't have some command that was right in front of them. He served in different ways, and yet they were all meaningful. So I encourage you to first validate how much you're serving. As I've had 6 children, I've been serving and bringing stuff on trays and putting in laundry and making sure they've got a nice clean bedding and they've got it cozy and all of these simple things that seem like really small things, but they're nurturing to them. And it's small, but it's meaningful. And I think about the different ways that I'm serving: a smile or a love or a cuddle or some ginger ale with some ice that just is at the right time. So I encourage you to first validate what you're already doing to serve in those seemingly inconspicuous, small ways. And then secondly, be more aware as you're going about your daily life, just those 3-second moments or those 2-minute elevator rides where you can add into your life that opportunity for that service and that connection and that joy. That's what makes the season so meaningful, so magical. And I know that from my soul. So I encourage you to do that just like the Savior did. I encourage you to read his text. If you haven't yet, pull out the New Testament, start reading about his life, and you will feel that joy fill your soul. And that's how I feel about the Savior. Again, 40 days with the Savior. And remember, ladies, let's keep it back to basics for this holiday season.